video. So
Right.
cryptography is essentially the process or the art of making a clear text unreadable. So the idea of it is to create like a secret when information is being exchanged between two parties. What I want to do is I want to be able to communicate information between point A to point B, so that a person C, even if they get hands on the information that is being exchanged, they are not able to make sense of it. Now initially so I would say that, so a lot of people say encryption and cryptography are one and the same thing. It's not entirely true. What we are saying is that encryption is a part of cryptography. So there are two concepts before even we discuss about encryption, which is substitution and transposition. So in earlier days, what used to happen is substitution says that in any kind of a language that I have, if we take the alphabet A to Z in our in English language, what we are saying is every letter I am substituting with either a number or a different letter in itself. So that kind of makes it a little cryptic in nature, if you may. And so that I could replace, I could say that A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, so that 1 2 3 4 becomes ABCD in the same sense. So the alphabets or the letters or the digits in or like the key or the keyword in itself changes its form, and it's being substituted by some other symbol. And based on that symbolic language, if you have the algorithm of understanding, so I will have it, the person who's receiving it will have it, and the other person who's listening to it will not be able to make sense of it. Transposition basically says that I just rearrange the letters or the symbols within a stream of text, so that it becomes unreadable. And I have a mechanism that I will say that, let's say the first symbol shifts to the third, the second shifts to the fourth, so on and so forth, and it rotates. So the symbols or the letters in themselves do not lose their value. They are just rearranged in a certain mechanism within that same string, and then they can be arranged back to form the original text. Now in substitution, we have two concepts, which is encryption and encoding. So encoding is basically just saying that I am using a mechanism to just convert a text into an encoded format. I am not using any separate mechanism. I'm just applying a simple algorithm to make a cover outside of a text that I want to share, and then it can be decoded. The problem with encoding is that the decoding of the encoded text is very easy. So initially we used to have, so we have an example like base 64 encoding. That's the simplest to decode. HTML encoding, URL encoding, wherein so it's we substitute. Like I said, if I say that A will be replaced by 1, B will be replaced by 2, it's very simple to then decode it back. You just have to replace it. So this is why, since it was easily decodable and understandable by an adversary or a malicious person, this is why encryption came into place. Encryption is a mechanism of applying a certain algorithm into a text or a plain text or a message, for that matter, to convert it into a completely different, unrecognizable, unreadable format of text, which we call as a ciphertext. The algorithm that we use to encrypt the text is called as an encryption algorithm or a cipher. So a lot of concepts we learned. We talked about cryptography, substitution, transposition, encryption. In encryption, we spoke about a plain text, a message, an encrypted text or a cipher text, or a crypto text for that matter, and a crypto algorithm or an encryption algorithm or a cipher which works on the plain text to convert it into a cipher text or a crypto text. Now, what is my expectation from a cryptography? So typically what we are saying is that yes, at a very basic level, we understand